This is 5 on your side at 6. Focused on you.
Tonight, St. Louis police issuing a warning about fake guns. It comes after officers took several gel blaster toy guns from teenagers downtown. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Ann Allred. The latest case adds to the growing number of incidents involving toy guns that we've covered in recent weeks. 5 on your side's Megan Kernan is live at St. Louis Police headquarters in downtown St. Louis.
Well, Ann, it's definitely a rising trend. Just last night, police say a group of teens was shooting at another group of teens with gel blaster guns. 4 teenagers were caught. Now, police believe they may be involved in similar incidents that we've covered several times this summer.
Potentially some type of social media challenge or TikTok challenge related to kids and these types of toys that ultimately can be somewhat used as weapons.
Sergeant Charles Wall with SLMPD says this trend is concerning and dangerous. That trend continued Monday night when officers broke up a group of teens at 6th and Locust.
You know, a lot of these items that some people may indicate are just toys, they're made to replicate firearms. Some of them very much look like firearms.
Officers found 3 16-year-olds and 1 19-year-old with gel guns and confiscated them. Sergeant Wall says there's a possibility they're linked to other recent crimes, shooting at people with fake guns.
They may be involved in other similar incidents that involve, like we were talking about before, the third-party individuals that are just walking down the street when they're indiscriminately targeted.
There have been other incidents as well, including a teen who opened fire with a gel bead gun at a movie theater in Creve Coeur, and in Florissant, where police are investigating recent incidents with juveniles using gel blasters known as Orbeez guns in public areas. Florissant's police chief said he's asking parents to educate their children about the potential risks and legal implications of using these devices irresponsibly. Sergeant Wall thinks the conversation should be had as well.
Any parent would be devastated if, you know, the toy that they got their child was misperceived to be some deadly weapon and somebody responded in kind with deadly force, and they've now are dealing with some type of family tragedy because of that.
Now, one of the 16-year-olds was taken into juvenile detention for a probation violation. The 2 other minors were released. The 19-year-old was released by police as well. Sergeant Wall is asking any victims of this type of incident who haven't reported it yet to consider giving their statements to St. Louis police. Live in downtown St. Louis, Megan Kernan, 5 on your side.
Tonight, a 15-year-old girl is injured after a shooting in Spanish Lake. She's the second teen shot in North St. Louis County in the past week. Our Justina Cornell joins us in studio with what we've learned about this case so far. Justina?
Well, Mike, for now, we don't have too many details. What we can confirm, this happened early this morning on the 1300 block of Cabrillo Drive in Spanish Lake. St. Louis County police officers responded to a shot spotter activation at about 12:45 this morning. Police found a 15-year-old girl with at least 1 gunshot wound. She was taken to the hospital, and tonight there is no word on the girl's condition. At the crime scene, police were taking photos in front of a home and a driveway. Now, just last week, a 17-year-old was shot and killed in Glasgow Village. Today, I spoke with the Crime Victim Center, a nonprofit agency aiming to support survivors. They said they're seeing more victims affected by gun violence.
We provide immediate crisis counseling, and we call it psychological first aid, where we can meet with a family as a group and talk to them about the things that they've experienced and help them develop strategies to both cope with the things that they've seen, but also become better advocates for their kids.
Now, these shootings come exactly 1 week after the U.S. Surgeon General's advisory. He declared firearm violence a public health crisis.
A St. Louis County judge has scheduled a hearing on a motion to vacate Marcellus Williams' murder conviction. Williams has been on death row for 24 years for the murder of former Post-Dispatch reporter Felicia Gale. She was stabbed 43 times in her University City home in 1998. St. Louis County prosecuting attorney Wesley Bell filed a motion in January to overturn Williams' conviction because there's no DNA evidence linking him to the crime. That hearing will be held on August 21st. Williams is scheduled to be executed on September 24th. With less than 2 weeks before the Republican National Convention kicks off, the Missouri Republican Party is scrambling to find new delegates to send to Milwaukee after an ugly fight for control of the state party.
Yeah, the RNC yanked the initial slate of delegates after citing alarming irregularities in how the state party picked them. Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, is covering both conventions for us this summer. So, Mark, what's going on here?
Well, Mike, it looks a lot like the Republican establishment is exacting revenge to crush the crusade of grassroots rebels who outnumbered them and drove them from their spots at the RNC. The state convention was supposed to be that where they would punch their golden ticket to Milwaukee to nominate Donald Trump, but now those delegates who already bought their flights and rented hotels, they're getting the disappointing news they don't get to go after all.
Please stop yelling. We have to have a vote.
Chris Gronhoward helped write the rules for the Missouri Republican Party state convention.
So we had a couple of breakdowns.
He watched as a block of insurgent grassroots activists stormed the convention to take control of the entire slate of 27 delegates to the RNC.
They threw out the rules. They felt like they could do that and get away with it, and so that's what they did.
His plan would have given the convention control of naming 11 spots on that coveted delegate list, and the party chairman could name the other 16.
They could have followed the rules and still won the day, but they decided to abandon the rules so they could get a larger chunk of delegates. And so that when you abandon the rules, there are consequences.
This is absolutely a counterattack by the establishment to silence the voices of the grassroots that have really been the backbone and foundation of the Republican Party.
State Senator Bill Eigel's team overthrew one of the Missouri GOP party bosses, a banker and donor who sits on the Republican National Committee, and voted to throw Eigel's slate of delegates out.
Basically, they had some of their insiders throw out the slate that over 900 Republican delegates selected down in Springfield as part of the state convention, and that's a real shame.
Gronhoward shot back and said the man at the epicenter of so much dysfunction in the Senate wasn't willing to share power.
That's the problem with the people that follow Bill Eigel. There's no compromise. It's just, damn the torpedoes and full speed ahead. And this is a guy who's destroyed more things than he's ever built.
Anytime that you have a supermajority, you get some factions and you get tension.
That grassroots rebellion cost Derek Good his spot as an RNC delegate. He filed a complaint and now sees an opening if the party picks him to replace the delegates who won.
They feel slighted. They feel like they won the game and somebody else is going home with their trophy.
Sure, but they cheated to get there. They did. They changed the rules. And the rules say you can't change the rules.
So who's in and who's out? Some big names caught in the crossfire. Bill Eigel and Jay Ashcroft were going to the RNC as delegates initially. Now they've been booted off that slate along with 25 others. Ashcroft says he's offered his spot to someone else if that might help achieve party unity. The RNC gave Missouri Republicans until Friday to try and finalize that exclusive guest list.
Coming up, a mother's plea to solve a 2-year-old mystery, the murder of her son.
Plus, new renderings of the new Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. What this means for the current hospital.
Strong storms tonight flaring up in northwest Missouri, stretching up into Iowa. That eventually heads our way. And tomorrow, a weather impact alert afternoon for the potential of some stronger storms.